Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we're going to be tying a really cool fly. It's called the lefties deceiver. It's a really great pattern for pike, bass, and muskie. And it's fairly large, but you can still catch, a big smallmouth on it, big largemouth, pike, and also muskie if you can tie it in a bigger pattern. But today for the hook, for some reason I grabbed this Mustad popper hook in a size 1/0, but it obviously has a little popper thing for it, but you can just use a straight shank if you want. It's fine. We're also going to be using some dyed pearl diamond braid, some flash, doesn't really matter what kind you use. I'm going to be using a white and like this color, so a little bit blue for my deer tail, and some neck hackles, or you could also use slipping if you want. And for my thread, I'm just going to be using what I always use, and as you guys know, it's white GSP. And I love this stuff because it's super strong, and yeah, it's just really nice to use. So let me just get this started up here, and we'll get tying. Alright, so what you're going to do is just start a nice base layer of thread on the hook. Just like that. And I don't really like cutting the tag end of my thread. I just like wrapping right over it. Just kind of adds a little bit of security to the fly. And yeah, it just makes it really durable. So I'll just wrap over your thread a few times, and then wrap your thread back to the barb of the hook. Okay, now we'll be tying in our hackles here. So we're just going to come in, strip off some of the fibers, some of the closer fibers here, just like that. And we want these to be about 1.5 hook lengths, about like that. Okay, just going to tie that in. Just like that. Okay, now I take another one, do the same with it, strip off some of the fibers, and you can cut some of these things off here, just so that there's the stem. I'm going to do that on this one too. Okay, now I'm going to tie this one the opposite way that I tied that one on, just like that. Okay, make sure that they're both closely the same length. Make a couple wraps. Make sure that they're all good. Okay, and then take this third one. Guessed it, do the same thing. Strip everything off of it. Trim that. We're going to be putting this one right over top of those two. Just kind of seals off any gaps that there are. Just adds a little bulk to it. You can just go with 2, but I think the more feathers the better. But it doesn't really matter. Okay, then I take some flash. I like quite a lot of flash in my deceivers. Just helps the fly look better and catch more fish. So I like a lot of flash, but you don't need to put a lot in if you don't want to. And I like to make it about the length of my feathers. Okay. And I also like to just tie on the top. Okay, it's a really flashy fly. You kind of want that, especially if you're going to be fishing, you know, for big pike and bass. They like something that's a little bit flashier. Okay, now I wrap down all these quills. Just like that. Now I have a nice flat body to this fly for my pearl braid to go over. Okay, then I take my braid, tie that on. Now this stuff is just like chenille. And I'm going to wrap it to, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch behind the hook eye. Now I just wrap my flat braid up the hook. You can cut it if you want. Okay, you don't need the wraps to be super close to each other. You know, you certainly don't want them to be one on top of the other. But you just basically want to wrap that forward. Just like that. This is why I don't like cutting it, but it still worked. Okay, just tie that off. Some nice tight wraps. Come in with your scissors, cut it. Secure all that down. Okay, now we're going to be adding the deer hair. So I think this is going to be the top of the fly. This is going to be the bottom. So we're going to put the blue on the top, the white on the bottom. Okay. And this is actually a deer tail that I dyed myself. I really like the color of this thing. It's like a frosted blue color. Let me get the light out of the way. It's like a nice blue color. I also have one in chartreuse. It's a little bit more green, but I have one in chartreuse. And I might be posting a video soon on how to make these, but I don't think I have any deer tails, so I'm going to have to wait till I get another deer. That probably won't be a while. But for now, we are just going to be sticking with this blue. You could also use chartreuse if you wanted. Okay, so take a fairly large clump of your deer hair here. I like to find some nice long pieces. These ones look pretty good. Okay, coming with my scissors. Cut them. Okay, now I just want to take out all the short pieces. So what I do is I just pinch it down here. Just kind of stroke it, and all the shorter pieces come out. Okay, now I want to trim it to a nice flat, so that the buttons are nice and flat. Okay, now I measure it. I want it to be a little bit longer than where my feathers start, so I'm just going to cut it a little bit more. About there is good. Okay, do one loose wrap, then another tight wrap. This is why I like this GSP so much. You can really crank down on that deer hair. Okay. Now that is all secured, what we're going to do is just flip the fly over in the vise. Gotta put my light back. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick little half hitch. Maybe another one. Just kind of give this fly some strength. Okay, then I'm going to flip the fly over in my vise. Or if you have a rotary vise, just turn it over. I really like making sure that this thing is tight in my vise, so really make sure that it's tight. Okay, now I just take a little bit of super glue and put a little drop on there. It's a little bit bigger than a little drop, but okay, I just put a drop of super glue on there, and that just kind of helps that deer hair stick to the thread, helps the thread stick to the deer hair, and helps everything just kind of stick to the vise. And I'm just going to let that dry. Okay, I'll put a couple thread wraps over it. Just make sure that we're good. Okay, I'll give my thread a spin. My bobbin. Okay, now you just take a little clump of white deer hair. Okay, and you want it to be the same length as the blue. So I want it to be about there. Okay, trim it so that it is flush. Put it right there. Remember, 1 or 2 tight wraps, a couple loose wraps. Or, sorry, 1 or 2 loose wraps, then a couple tight wraps. Okay, it's like that. And now you can go around and check the fly. Okay, looks pretty good on each side. Okay, and I just make a nice thread dam right here on my fly. And what I'm trying to do is just kind of even out this head. And I want a nice big bulky head here. Sorry I haven't posted a video for a while, but I just haven't had this thread for a while, and really this is the only thread that I like to use. Just because of how strong it is. And for fishing videos, this spring I will be posting a ton. We just got a little bass boat that me and my brother are going to be taking out a lot. And yeah, I'll be posting a bunch of videos on that. So just stay tuned for spring. There's gonna be some more steelhead coming in. I know I haven't posted a lot this winter. Just kind of hard, especially since you can't really fish in the winter. So I want to make a nice big head. Doesn't need to be smooth or anything, because we're going to be putting some eyes on here. And then some UV stuff, make a nice big head. Okay, so you're just going to whip finish like 3 or 4 times. Just like that. Okay, now cut it. Okay, just like that. Now, I'm just going to move this a little bit. I'm going to get it right on that. Okay, now this is a kind of a intense part that you need to get right. Okay, so I'm just going to take this out of my vise. Okay, now it's got some Loon UV clear finish. This is in thick. almost running out here. So I'm going to put a nice little dot of the stuff right there. Okay, and then I take one of my eyes here. I don't really know what kind of eyes these are or what brand they are, but I love these eyes. I put them on literally almost all my flies. Okay, stick the eye on there. Just like that. Okay, then I put my UV light on it. Normally I like to get my regular light out of the way. Remember, don't look at the UV light. It can blind you. Okay. So there's that eye. Now I do the same to the other. I'm not going to show it. But basically just do the same thing to the other. Okay, so I got both my eyes on there. Just like that. And for this last part here, I'm just going to clamp that into the vise. Okay, and I take my glue. And I put a lot of it on those eyes there. Now, I love putting on a ton of this stuff. Just makes flies look really good. I love this UV stuff. It's amazing. You know, it's really a game changer. So I just kind of put it everywhere. Okay. Once I see that it's pretty even, move my light out of the way, put my UV light on there, and usually it should take about like 15 seconds to fully cure. And it doesn't really fully cure. It really takes like, you have to fish it and keep it out in the sunlight for it to fully cure, but you know, makes a nice glossy finish over the head there. So now I do the same to the bottom of my fly. Okay, and I highly suggest that you keep the brush. I highly suggest that you keep the brush for these, and don't ruin them because they are really nice brushes. I actually ruined mine on accident. I put the UV resin on it, and then I shined the UV light on it, and it ruined it. So don't do that. Don't be an idiot, and yeah, you should be fine. Okay, so now secure that. Boom. Just like that, you have a finished fly. Like I said, this thing is awesome for, you know, pike, large smallmouth, even some largemouth. But I like fishing it for pike, muskie. You could also add a little bit of weight in here. And it's just great at imitating like a big shad, or you could tie it in like green or chartreuse color, and it could imitate like a big bluegill or something. But it's just a really great pattern. And another thing that you can do, I don't really like doing this, but you could also put some peacock herl on the top. It just makes like a little black stripe. But like I said, I don't like doing that. And so yeah, fish it well. It's an awesome fly, like I said. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for another video. And yeah, see you in the next one.